Welcome to Module 3, third and final module of DIY graphic design. This is where we bring it all together. We combine, we create, we bring to life the designs that we need and the graphics that are required for our marketing and our digital platforms. We're going to talk about marrying it all together, text, imagery, information, and all the ways that we do it in a professional manner versus a junky, overwhelming piece of graphic design that does not serve its purpose. Effective arrangement, speaking of. So what are those final design elements we need to take into account? And then how do we maybe employ recurring brand filters or saturation levels or brightness or whatever we need to do to make it feel like it is ours and people might recognize it, but in a subtle way. Gone are the days of oversaturation or overly blowing out photos so that you can barely see them because they're so white and bright and actually they look ridiculous. So what's our limitations, and yet how can we also still make them a little bit more professional than just that raw version of itself? Tying it all together. So exporting it in the right formats, knowing what those are, the right size, the right format is so important. And then just ensuring that we know how to resize it again for various platforms if necessary in that repurposing game that we know so well from course number 2. You've learned it, now do it. We're going to end by creating a series of templates and then designs to get us on the road with our graphics for the month ahead or the social content that we're creating, hopefully a month in advance, as we learned in course 2 as well. So you've set up your account, you feel good about it, you're considering upgrading to the pro account if you haven't done so already, or you're just experimenting with the free account to see if you can avoid having to pay for it, and if it gives you all you need, wonderful. So your first challenge is going to be creating some of those more key elements that you need for marketing. Most of us need some kind of collateral. If you can get away without any kind of print material, wonderful. But even if it's not in print, you probably have a logo or a signature in your in your email, or some of the more traditional pieces, letterhead that you would use in a digital file even, or a downloadable company overview. It's still on your website. It's still in digital format, not printed, but you need to create these as more static pieces of your brand. So is that your social media banners? Is it your business card? Is it letterhead? Is it a presentation? Is it some kind of postcard or promo material? Up to you. Some suggestions, of course, are those social banners. We want to make sure, and especially if we can use Canva's, again, templates, banners, so LinkedIn banners, YouTube channel art, Facebook covers, starting with some of those as our design jump-off point can be really powerful and does the trick. And they are designed in a way that has already taken into account the space that we need. So Facebook's a little different than it used to be, where we don't have to have room anymore for the like button or the follow or the text and the profile image. They're kind of separated, but still they're designed in a way that's eye-catching and not going to be competing with, say, your profile image. So I'd encourage you to create those. And then again, the business card, if you need it, front and back, thinking about what looks modern and clean and crisp and what's going to work, what's easily replicable or editable for your teammates or others who follow, and how can you maybe have different colors, etc. Of course, you can send it immediately off to print or find an online printing company like Vistaprint, or Canva actually encourages you to print them right from your account as well. But talk about a seamless way to have business cards in your hand that you designed so affordably. And then letterhead would be that third one. This is important. No matter what industry you're in, we all eventually have a need for some kind of formal presentation, invoice, quote, proposal, letter. I would encourage you to create something simple and have it on hand in Canva. Part 2 of your challenge. Okay, now we're talking like social media marketers. So social media content. We want to pull in our content pillars from course number 2, content writing and publishing, or perhaps if you took social media strategy, you started to think about your content themes. We call them pillars. The 3 or 4 unique themes of your business and your marketing that you can wrap your content around. and kind of bucket it into for variety's sake and storytelling depth. And then some of the categories that live within each of those themes. The how-tos, did you knows, ask me anythings, maybe that carousel storytelling, unboxings or demos, testimonials, all these recurring content categories that liven up our content pillars one by one. Even better when we can put those into some kind of graphic that's reusable. And I'll show you what I mean. So with Social School, we went through a rebrand exercise a couple of years ago, and we were trying to also develop a brand guide for social. So not just fonts, colors, typeface, or logo. We were trying to also determine what our templates could look like for a testimonial on Instagram. Well, here's an idea. Maybe some color blocking, again, bringing in our brand colors 1, 2, 3, or 1 through 5, utilizing them in strategic ways so they don't always look the same, but the color was going to, and the photo, and the name was going to differentiate the person. The font of the name, first name, last initial, was going to be very strategic. Seeing Jeff S. with his face right there is designed and laid out in a way that works really purposefully and well. It's not overwhelming, but if you want to know more about Jeff S., read right there below it. And that template, of course, can be built upon. We can use it for 6 months, we can use it for 6 years, or we can slowly evolve it. We could create 10 of those in a row each month and use it as a carousel. Get to know our latest grads. Here's what they have to say. Get to know our farmers and suppliers. Here's who they are behind the scenes. Here's one line about what they love to eat at Sunday dinner, or what their favorite record is. Let's get interesting. So that's where all that creativity and clever copywriting came in from course number 2. Now you're bringing them to life in testimonial posts or design templates that are actually going to get seen and read. For us, we call them spotlight posts or highlight posts. So if we're highlighting a podcast episode, a blog post, a new course, maybe we don't always say the word spotlight, but it's one word and it's written and designed kind of like this that allows us to, again, call out a certain content category in a way that's recognizable, repeatable, and easily editable and really serves its purpose. What about for quotes? Well, perfect. Let's design some quote templates. For us, they might be using mock-ups. So again, a mock-up is a piece of tech or existing, stationery or the side of a building or a billboard where we overlay or incorporate our own text and imagery into it. Mock-ups are quite cool. They're usually referred to in a tech space. So I have a computer mock-up, a laptop mock-up, etc. But whatever you want to do to bring to life perhaps a quote, there's so many ways to do this. I would encourage you to go and simply Google or go into Pinterest testimonial template ideas or testimonial graphics or best testimonials on social, and you will see so many ideas. If I go back into scrolling Canva, Instagram, Planoly, remember that account I said is one of my all-time favorite Instagram accounts? The way they do testimonials. It's different every time, or it's a slight variation on their template, but it's so clever and creative, and it's not just a quote. It's, just brings us back and leaves us wanting more. Social media banners. We've reimagined ours several times over the years because God knows we're getting long in the tooth when it comes to Facebook.com. It's been around a decade now. So how are you evolving and washing your social feeds in the color of the month or the theme of the quarter, or like Inc. magazine or Entrepreneur magazine or Vogue, how they take their feature story of that month, that's the theme of the month, of course, and they brand or wash all of their social feeds with a little bit of that feature story. So it's a black and white image taken from the article, or it's, got some kind of text or wording on it that looks kind of like the story that they've put in print, or that's on their billboard this month, or that's in their Christmas campaign, or in stores. Look to the big guns here. Nike, Starbucks, JJ Bean, like Crew, J Crew, mixing up my coffee shops and clothing apparel companies, and see how they are actually kind of all-encompassing, using brand and themes and pillars, and of course, taking advantage of things like social media banners to further reiterate their theme or their campaign of the month or of the quarter. And then something like a tip sheet, a download, a freebie. A lot of us have these in our businesses, a worksheet, or it could be your investor report. It could be your one pager, it could be your press release. How can you creatively make these design templates a little bit better? I would be lying if I said that when I was a journalist, if a press release was written in a way that had a lot of imagery and a beautiful header and it was well laid out with less text, less is more, and I could then pick up the phone and ask for more detail if I needed it, or flip to the backgrounder section, which had the bulk of the information, I was so much more apt to cover that story or follow up with the PR company or the business that was pitching it, because it was eye-catching. It was easy to digest. It worked with all my sensory needs, imagery, visual, highlights or headers, captions, just nicely laid out, brings your eye down a page, leads you in wanting more, and tip sheets, top 10 lists, facts, stats, all of that can be better designed as an infographic or a designed one-pager than a lot of us are currently doing. Okay, it's your turn. So we've looked at a lot of examples here. We have seen some of these templates in action in our own favorite social accounts, websites that you travel, e-newsletters that you subscribe to. I encourage you now to go and create a few of those elements that we said were part of challenge, either part 1 or part 2 or both. Create some templates for yourself. Start with Canva's templates that they're giving you and see where you get to. Then from there, we want to ensure, and actually, sorry, if you want to do this on paper first in exercise number 5 in your workbook, you're welcome to. This was designed as a place to pen to paper. Remind yourself what your brand pillars are, and then map out or draw out a little bit of what those graphics look like so that you can actually utilize them or bring them into a design really easily. And that's sometimes a better starting point than going into Canva and just seeing all the templates and starting with everything. If you know in advance what you're looking for or what your brand should look like or that image should look like, so maybe it's your pillar number 1, education, and it's a how-to post, what could that look like if it was an Instagram? Okay, the final piece of this entire course is to create social media content now. So we're past creating some of those templates, and now we're moving into actually making the content. Go from template to design. Take it and turn it into a 3-post series or the content that you need for next month. What does that look like? Is it going to be Instagram posts? Sorry about my dog. Or is it going to be LinkedIn content or articles or blog headers, e-newsletter banners? Create some of that actual content that you need and hopefully export it in the way that works. I'm so sorry. Finally, any kind of maybe poster or additional piece of content that could work for you that month. And hold please. And finding a way to utilize some of these aspects of additional designs in that month's campaign or in that month's content. You may not need it, but maybe you have something coming up that warrants a poster or an additional postcard or, again, more punched up graphics for that e-newsletter of the month. Just once we know what our content calendar looks like and the different aspects of our needs are, from both blog imagery to recurring sections of our e-newsletter to, again, those categories of social posts, we know exactly what we need to create. My point here is work backwards. Pull from your social media strategy what you know to be your frequency of posts and your post types, and then start to build out those templates so that you can easily create without getting overwhelmed. The biggest mistake we see people make when they're building a website, they're launching a blog, or they're just amping up their LinkedIn page is that they create 700 graphics or they download 200 images. You do not need that many. Your website probably needs like 25 images, maybe even just 10, and then blog images as you publish those blog pieces. So don't go downloading 200 images. Find what you need, put it in the right folders, keep yourself organized. You'll be so glad you did, month by month or campaign by campaign, and then pull them in as needed. Likewise, with these templates that we're creating, don't start off by creating 20 for each platform or for each content category you plan on using. Create one that can work well for your testimonials, one that would be a great how-to, one that might be awesome as an Ask Me Anything or a tee up of your Instagram live every Friday. And that becomes your recurring cover art or promotional piece or whatever it is. So I encourage you to see what others are doing, find inspiration, declare your needs and what is going to feel right for you. Experiment with the platform of Canva and get comfortable with making your designs and knowing that they look and feel good, using the templates where needed, and then create your own templates and designs. And you'll be so well set up to move forward in your content marketing efforts from here. Creating exactly what fits your fancy, but of course, suits your business and meets your needs for proper storytelling. I wish you so much luck with your Canva efforts and your graphic design, and I will see you in course number 4, mobile photo and video, as we have now rounded the midway point of this social media marketing certificate. And I hope to see you in the next course where we're going to punch up your photography and video skills to really complete the package. See you there.